In the words of Sri Adi Shankara, if I am saying that correctly. In the words of Sri Adi Shankara, loud speech, profusion of words, and possessing skillfulness in expounding scriptures are merely for the enjoyment of the learned. They do not lead to liberation. Now, likewise, the same phrase was said in a different way. Loud speech consisting of a shower of words, the skill in expounding scriptures, and likewise erudition, these merely bring on a little personal enjoyment to the scholar, but are no good for liberation. And as my title says, yogis and spiritual scholars can't fly. Some. They can't fly. If you go and you can search on even YouTube, or even ask people, many people believe it's possible. Indeed, it is possible. Of course. This world, the cosmos, the universe, life itself is full of many beautiful possibilities and many beautiful things to experience. It is not bad to desire such things. Okay? Now, spiritual scholars will tell you, oh no, you must be desireless. That's why you must do yoga and meditation. Okay, so you're telling me to be desireless, I must do something, so I must desire to be desireless. And in this desiring to be desireless, there's these practices called meditation and yoga. Now, some of those scholars may say, no. It's just practicing the concept of letting go. Ah, okay, that makes a little more sense. Letting go, not being attached. Okay, we can work with that, yes. All right? But do not tell me that desire is, oh, don't do that, right? Understanding desire is different, okay? Understanding desire is different. People desire to fly. That's why they built the plane. People desire to feel good. That's why many have gotten in contact with nature's plant medicines, learned and loved and lived with the animals, and still live with animals. Plant-based diet. Okay? People desire to be amazing and to have an amazing life. If there was no desire to live and express the infinite possibilities and infinite creative loving expressions of spirit itself, we would not even have these forms, okay? These forms are just here to teach us to rise above these limitations. We create limitations for ourselves, okay? But in a actual sense, in essence, life itself has many possibilities. So yeah, yogis, scholars, spiritual leaders and teachers who talk about flying but then try to get your attention away from it, or tell you it's not as important, or try to use all these extravagant speeches to talk about why you shouldn't want that, or what's the point of wanting that. In other words, everything that they can possibly say to get your attention onto what they have learned versus actually working on the question that people ask is, can we fly? Everything they could say to get away from that, they'll do two things. Some of them will do two things. Either they'll go around it, okay, or they'll talk about certain things that may lead to it, including certain spiritual aspects and certain spiritual revelations, okay? This thing of trying to keep things a secret because only a select few feel very special, or these things of trying to keep this a secret because of fear and insecurities, that needs to stop, because that is a clear sign that these people are giving their power to something else that is essentially an illusion. Power. And I've mentioned this in my previous video. Y'all can go check it out, the previous video before this one, all right? So anyways, yeah. Now, just so y'all know, erudition, you can look up the term erudition. I'll say it for you right now, okay? Erudition, or erudition, or whatever. It's the quality of having or showing great knowledge of learning. Scholarship. Now, there is expounding. Expounding is present and explain a theory or idea systematically and in detail. We all have this capacity to learn certain things and explain in details and systematically what we have learned. Yeah, right? In other words, this systematic, you can say we have learned things a certain way or a certain process, and each process of everybody's life is unique. Therefore, on that note, if you are learning or are seeking to learn more about flying and levitation, and you feel good about it, do not tell, or not tell, but don't let yourself be told by others that, oh, that's not important. Why? You don't need that. Especially spiritual scholars, all right? Well known spiritual scholars. Don't let them tell you, oh, no, this is not of necessary importance, okay? These are just excuses, and I would say overcompensations to cover an ability that they lack, all right? Because they know they themselves that, man, I would like to have this ability. Why don't I have the ability? But instead they go meditate and they ignore it and they're like, no, just become desireless. Don't desire it at all. So they create for themselves a spiritual egoic trap. All right? Do not be that person. Do not be that person whatsoever. Okay? Like I said, life is full of beautiful, beautiful, beautiful possibilities. And when you let yourself be guided by love and love's wisdom and nature's wisdom, especially, you definitely get a lot of revelations. Okay, and the other part I would also say is a lot of these scholars, especially some modern day scholars, they are very, you could almost say, anti-nature. They see themselves as more intelligent than nature's, in this case, nature's plant medicines. They see themselves as more intelligent than nature's creatures who roam freely. Don't let these people confuse you. Stop. Put a barrier right there. Right. The minute they try to create any kind of limitation based on fear, scarcity, or their own insecurities or what they've been taught by somebody, that then okay, this person, thanks for the wisdom they share, but they clearly thank them, be grateful, but clearly know when it's time to, okay, move on and keep expanding on my sources, your sources, your wisdom, your knowledge. And more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, share. We have all these tools right now so we can share these things, so we can share this knowledge, so we don't allow ourselves to be fooled by those who are so claiming to have so much spiritual knowledge, but the minute you bring something that is, that is born of your spirit, born of joy and love, and in this case, flying, they want to tell you things like, oh, that's not important. There's like some truth in some of the things they say, but there is a lot of contradiction and hypocrisy in what they say as well. Okay? For people who claim themselves to be very spiritual and connected, you would totally see that depending on what they say, they're quite disconnected. Especially when it comes to those scholars and spiritual leaders who try to, in other words, they try to create this view or this conceptual idea that somehow we are much more intelligent than nature. No, we are born into this earth. We are part of this earth. All right, nature is a part of us, so are the cosmos. Therefore, all the beautiful, amazing things that is life, and all the joys and beauties of life, and the peace, and the love, and the balance, and the tranquility, all of these things, and all these expressive forms of love, joy, etc., all of these things are natural. So when they call these things supernatural, you could say, yeah, there's a certain truth to that phrase, super, but natural. Okay? So don't be surprised when you start seeing more people learn how to do amazing abilities, okay? And especially if it's people who are very well connected to plant medicines. Heck, don't even be surprised if it's people who don't even might be used so many plant medicines, but they have learned from their experience and the experiences of others. All I'm saying is that it is very possible. There's many beautiful possibilities. Flying and levitation is one of those possibilities. What's it going to take to make that probability a reality? It's going to take working together, sharing our wisdom, expanding our wisdom, gathering pieces of the puzzle, as I like to say. Everything that is life, has been scattered around the globe like pieces of a puzzle. And we help each other by sharing our wisdom and our own revelations and what we have learned without judging others as well, okay? And letting love and its purity and its wisdom guide us in everything that that we do. So continue. If you believe in your abilities, if you believe in the abilities of humanity and even all of Earth's brethren, or all of Earth inhabitants, our earth kin, our earthly kin, and the animals, okay? That if you believe that we are all capable of amazing, beautiful things that seem supernatural, listen, that is a good thing. And let those who have all the excuses to say why it's not, or have all the reasons and limitations to say why you shouldn't, because even spiritual scholars, all right, too much even spiritual scholars can get trapped in egotistical spiritual, or traps that are basically spiritual, very in other words, they are, we call these egoic spiritual traps, spiritual egoic traps, you know, traps of being more spiritual, traps of being, you know, better than these desires. Oh, flying, no, we are better than these desires. Why want that? They just can't admit to the fact that they also desire it and have been sold essentially a concept, a rule, as some people would say, a BS rule, a belief system, BS, a belief system. Okay, that says no, that's not possible, or that's not important, or that's not necessary when we have enlightenment, yada yada. Be very careful and believe in your abilities. I believe in all of you. Believe in yourselves, okay? Namaste. Thank you. Definitely share this, because it is super important that this message gets out, and definitely share, get together, work, all right? Comment, share the wisdom, and let's grow together. Namaste. Subscribe and like if you like. Up to you. Just share the message. Peace.